Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. Welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great, thank you. Here is my contact information, email address if you want to send me your images of your work. And if you focus or post on social media, I ask you to please use @BBL_Tangle so that I get notified that you've posted something, because I love to see what you've done. Reminders that there's no mistakes in Zentangle. I do an oops quite often, but it's okay, no worries. And focus. Today I'm going to do another mindful monotangle. I love doing these, and this is my disc-bound book, and I have a link in the description, so down below if you click on ... more, there are useful links in the description. And we have done 1, 2, if I can get these to move, 3, 4. I did this one on a regular Zentangle tile, and then I just used these photo corners to put it in my book. I just like using these to keep some of my playlists together. And it is 4 inches by 4.5 inches. So I have one of those tiles here. This one is pretty close to the same paper as the Zentangle tile. You can do this on any size paper that you have. Don't worry about it. Any color that you have, especially these mindful monotangles. I love using them to relax, and I really enjoyed playing with this one today. So I'll be using my little piece of paper and a Micron PN, which is plastic nib. Okay. Graphite pencil. And plastic nib is nice because then I don't mess them up. I'm kind of heavy-handed. And this is a tortillon, also known as a blending tool. And I have a kneaded eraser, but I don't plan on using it. And the pattern we're going to do today is called Cadent. Okay, this happens to be the first tangle that Zentangle taught in their newsletters, and it came out in December of 2007. It's one of my favorites. So to get started, I'm very grateful to have Zentangle in my life. I'm grateful to be able to teach it and share it with you on YouTube, and grateful for so many friends that I have made through my YouTube channel. I appreciate all of you so very much, and your comments, and just love being associated with you. So let's get started. I'm not going to put any corner dots or border on this because I want it to be able to just grow. But I'm going to show you first the basic pattern of Cadent. And it just starts with these orbs. And I'm not going to do very many. So it's a square grid. Okay. And what we're going to do is strictly the S stroke. So in other words, like this. Okay, we're always going to go in that direction as if you're drawing the excuse me, the letter S. We don't want to do the backwards, which kind of looks like a 2. You can, if you wanted to do the whole thing in that way, that's fine, but we're not going to do that on this one, okay? Let's only do the S stroke, and that'll help us keep it looking the way that we want it, okay? And this one uses what they call take off and land, so we're going to take off from the top of that orb and land on that one. And basically we do that S stroke on all of these. And then we're going to come down here and do the same thing. We're not, if we were to do like this one, we would go over that line. We don't ever want to go over the line that's already there. If we always do the S, then this is going to work out the way we want it. Okay? And then we turn. And do it again. Always making the S stroke. Okay, so that's basically all there is to Cadent. The one I'm going to do today is called Crazy Cadent. And we call it that because we're going to do it in triangles instead of these squares. And you'll see as we go along that it's easy, it's fun, and it makes just a beautiful pattern, okay? Anywhere on your page, let's just start with a fairly good size orb. And it doesn't matter what size orb we do. I need to turn on my light before I forget. Okay? And then we're just going to put some orbs around it. And they can be large or small. They don't have to be the same exact size. I'm not worried about how they're spaced. I've tried this with 6, 7, 8. It all works. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to do that S stroke. So I'm going to come off of that one, come around, and turn your tile. So my tile is going to move, not my hand. And this keeps your hand comfortable. Okay, so once we get that done, now we're going to connect these edges in that same way. And once you get this down, and always remember to do the S stroke, this can very quickly fill a tile, and then you can do other fun things with it. Okay, even that right there kind of makes a little flower, but we're just going to keep building on that. So thinking of these as kind of being triangles, I'm going to come out, just a little ways and put another orb, and then I'm going to connect those. Okay, let's put one here. And since it's not in a grid, we can make these as large or as small as we want. Okay, so I kind of came out in a triangle fashion. Okay, kind of a wonky S, and that's okay. I'm going to put another big orb here. And this is part of what makes it Crazy Cadent. Okay, again, we're just taking off and landing. I'm going to go ahead and come back over here. And since this one's kind of big and far away, I'm going to put another orb here and make that my triangle. And then we can connect these two. So if it starts getting kind of wide, like right here, see how far apart that is? I'm just going to make a triangle type shape. And now we can connect these two. And then just keep turning your tile. These are far apart, so I'm just going to put a random size there and connect them. Connect these two. I'm going to come out this way. And again, I'm not worried about how far apart they are. I'm not trying for any kind of a perfect triangle. See how this one has wider here than there? Doesn't matter. And when you're doing this by yourself, like this morning I was doing this and I was filling a sheet of paper with it because it was just so relaxing. It's just, to me, a very enjoyable pattern. Okay. And it just fills your tile pretty quickly. Okay, these are far apart, so I'm going to come out here. Let's put another big one. It's just random. It's just crazy. Okay, let's put another one kind of about halfway between, be fine. And just keeping in mind that we're just filling this with triangles. Orbs and triangles, and the S stroke. And as long as you don't go backwards. I did it on another one this morning. And so I had a big oops on there. It's okay. It was just practice. Let's put a big one here. And we are going to do something with those big orbs. Doesn't matter if they're long and skinny. Okay, I'm going to come out from here. Okay, just focus on making a triangle shape. And like I said, with this, you could just make a flower shape and put that on any tile. This is a fun filler. It's also kind of a blossoming tangle. Okay. Don't overthink it. Okay, looks like this is a nice little triangle here. And we're going to come out, let's do a big one. And I'm purposely making these bigger just so you can see that it doesn't have to be exact. And we didn't start with a grid, we just started with orbs in crazy places. And of course, you can just stop when you're ready. Okay, let's put one more here, and then we'll go to our next step. Okay. Trying to decide if I want to put another little one here. I think I do. Close to the edge. Remember, this is your art. You're not trying to make yours look exactly like mine. Okay. Okay, let's just go with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is what they call an anchored aura. So if I were to do just an aura inside here, I would just make this an equal distance from the other line. Okay, so that's an aura of those lines. An anchored aura comes from where we started those other lines and around and goes back in. So it's anchored in the same places that those others were. And this Micron PN is drawing really wide. I'm not used to that. Okay, so an anchored aura is anchored in the same place as your other line. Okay, so we're going to do that. Just pick any one of these. And this is where this mindful tangling continues. Adding more auras. And we're going to do that inside each one of these triangles. And as I finish each one of these, I'm going to put a line from about the center. We're leaving it open, but into each of those corners. Oops. All right, so another anchored. And then I'm going to put those lines. And I'm going to do it in this center one first because I want you to see how pretty it makes it. You can make them as wide or as skinny as you would like. And I found that by finishing with these little lines, then, okay, I know that I've done that triangle. And we're going off of this big one here. Because I want you to see what a pretty flower it makes here. Okay, so just keep going around. And hopefully I'm not making you dizzy by turning my tile, but it does make it easier. I don't speed up my videos, so if this gets too repetitious for you, you can pause, work on yours, and then come back. You can fast forward using the YouTube controls, or if I'm going too fast, you can slow it down. Okay, so still going around this center one. Okay, isn't that pretty? I just love how that looks. And then when we get this all filled, you're going to love it. There's all kinds of options that you can do. There is, in the tanglepatterns.com, if you look up Cadent for the step outs, she has links to several videos that give you some different ideas. There is a video called Kitchen Table Tangles that Maria did years ago, well, Rick and Maria, that it looks very similar to this, but she uses a black pen and then she uses a brown pen for these auras, the anchored auras, and it's just beautiful how it turns out. Okay, I'm gonna try to not go too fast, but also not too slow. Isn't it pretty? So today was the first day of school for my granddaughter, and first time for her to catch the bus to school. She's going to 6th grade, which starts her first time going to intermediate school, what we used to call junior high. And she was so nervous, and I was nervous for her, but I'm sure she did well. I'm anxious to talk to her and see how she did. I assured her that adults get nervous too, like when we're going to a new job and things like that. It's okay to feel nervous about it. When I first started teaching online, excuse me, I taught a class on Zoom, and I taught it to friends, but it was still my first time doing something like that. And I didn't realize until the class was over that I had had my shoulders tense the whole time, and I was actually hurting for a couple of days. The things we do to ourselves. So I will remind you now to take a deep breath, relax your shoulders. Relax your mind, and just enjoy drawing this monotangle. And because we're not worried about drawing a specific image, and because we're using these repeating strokes, it's very mindful and relaxing. Yeah, I found when I was doing this the first time that I was getting a little confused as to whether or not I had already done the anchored aura, but as long as I put these other little lines, which you don't have to do, of course, it helped me remember where I was at. I have had a few people who have used the super thanks recently, and I just want to tell you thank you so very much for supporting my channel that way. It is greatly appreciated. Okay, this is one of those skinny ones, and that's okay. Isn't that pretty? I just love how that looks. If you did it in different colors, that could be pretty too, to color it when you're finished. But to switch pens a lot, that wouldn't be relaxing to me. But that's just how I am. And that's okay. Okay, just remember we're going into that same corner or close. Not looking for perfection. We're looking for crazy. I can do crazy. Okay, again, if this is going too slow, you can fast forward, speed it up. I do that on some videos that I watch. I do have something else I'm going to do, like I said, with these bigger orbs that we added. And you don't have to do these little lines that I'm adding in the center. I think it kind of gives it a flow, though. And again, these mindful monotangles are meant to help you just relax, not worry about building a specific pattern or group of patterns on your tile. There's a lady on Instagram that I like to look at her stuff. Her name is Diana Marshall, and she does a lot of filling a whole page with one pattern, and they're always so pretty. Okay, hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. But I do find it easier if I'll turn my tile. And you can see, because we're coming off of these so much, how it also gives it kind of a feathery look. It gives you some drama around these smaller orbs. So I am thinking about doing a very simple website. Since I started the not perfect prompt, I've only done one, but I would like to have a place where I can post those, and you could go there easily anytime if you wanted to look at those groups of patterns and string and do it again. In my last job that I had, I was working on web applications, websites. And when I retired, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And even now, I just want to do probably a very simple WordPress website. Nothing fancy. Something easy to navigate and useful to you. So I have to see what it'd take to get that done. And I will definitely let you know. All right, we're getting there. I appreciate all of you who listen to me ramble. My dog is snoring in the background. I've definitely put her to sleep. So you can kind of see if you did these all big, you could put another pattern inside of these. I do encourage you to go to the one from Margaret Brimner, and I will put a link in the description, or you could just do a search for Cadent and then some. And Margaret did this with several patterns. She has just some fantastic posts on her blog with ideas of things to do like that. And I think that Cadent and then some is mostly focused on Cadent in a grid. But if you look at her ideas, they could be used in this also. And like I said, Crazy Cadent can be used as a filler in any part of one of your tiles. And after you do a tile like this, you'll know how to do it because we've done it so many times. We're almost done. And then we're going to add some shading. If you have pastel chalk pencils, you could do some of these in color. That would be really pretty. I love pastel chalk pencils. But mostly I love doing the black ink on a white tile. It is the elegance of limits. Something small, just 2 colors and some shading. All right, what do you think? I think I'm going to add one here. Let your art talk to you. If it's saying, I need more, then add it. I love watching Maria because she's constantly adding. But she's also a trained artist. Okay, should we add something? Let's just go. Okay, I'll stop. The next thing I want to do is where we did some of these big ones. I'm going to put an orb inside, and I'm going to try to leave a little bit of space around it. And then I'm going to leave a little open spot, a little highlight. Okay, so let's try that here. Just take your time. Put an orb inside. Put another little orb and then fill in the rest of it. Okay, just take your time. That one's a little bit small. So just random, just in crazy places. Okay, keep in mind when you've done something like this to try not to put your hand on it, because when you put a lot of ink in one place, it takes a little bit longer for it to dry. Okay, cool. Okay, let's shade it. And for the shading, I'm just gonna add some graphite right around the orbs. And I'm not going to go inside that where we added that. Okay, okay, I'm using the side of my pencil and staying inside here. Little circles around each one of these. Where all these lines come together, it's always a good place to consider putting shading. If you're unsure about shading, I do have a video on tips for shading. And I don't remember the name of the playlist I have it in. I'll try to remember to add something in the description or in the video to tell you that playlist. If not, you can always go to my YouTube channel and do a search for shading. Okay, so just adding some graphite around each one of our little orbs. I just love how these look. Okay, seeing if I missed any up here. I'm trying to not put my hand over the graphite that I've already added. You can put a piece of paper like that if you need to. That way, if you get graphite on your hand, you don't smear it where you don't want it. If you have the Mosaic app, you could do a search, and I do forget to mention that you can use a hashtag inside the Mosaic app and look at what other people had done. So for this, we would put the hashtag Crazy Cadent, and then that pulls up so many other tiles that people have uploaded there, and I get a lot of great ideas that way. Okay, so again, trying to keep my hand off of this, I'm just going to go in and soften these. Push that graphite into the paper. And you can see I didn't mean to, but I did put graphite inside that little orb. But I do want those to stay clean if possible, so they stay white. Okay. So we're just going to continue to go around and soften it. Push it out a little bit. And I have my blending stump kind of on the side. Doesn't that look cool? Okay. Just looking for where I have not blended it yet. So I practiced this for a while, and then I found that kitchen table tangle that Rick and Maria did, and like I said, she did it very similar, but I was practicing it before I saw her video. And she does hers in 2 colors. Okay, almost done. Okay, did I get them all? Not sure if I did that one. Isn't that neat? I just think it's so cool. All right, so let's add our chop. And like I said, this one is 4 inches wide. If you're using a Zentangle tile, yours is 3.5, so I may have more room, and mine may be bigger than yours, but it's okay. Turn it over, and the pattern we did was Cadent by Zentangle. I just like to put ZHQ, date it, put information on the back, a little journaling if you'd like to. And this is also a mindful monotangle. And if you use that hashtag when you post, then other people can look at that and see what you've done. And this one, I believe, is number 5. So there we go. Hold it at a distance. Appreciate what you've done. You've created some beautiful art again. All right? Don't compare yourself to anybody else, just yourself, and know that you're improving every time that you draw. Okay? Thank you again for watching my videos and for supporting my channel. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Leave comments, subscribe, share, and come back again, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.